Alright guys, I'm going to be doing some more Patreon requests, and we're going to start things off with a Patreon request from Nolan Unejo. But as always, if you guys would like to have Patreon requests done, just hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon, where you guys can start sending me requests for videos to do here on YouTube once you hit the 3rd tier. See, I can do numbers with my hands. So, as you can see from this Patreon request, we're going to be basically talking about Faction Wars. Now, Faction Wars is basically a video exclusive over on Patreon. Another shameless plug. But here, for this Patreon request, we're going to move it over here. So for this one, this one is basically, what this one is you can see it's the Old Republic from Star Wars versus the Imperium of Man from Warhammer 40k. So what would it be like if the Old Republic, and by Old Republic I mean like the Old Republic games, and we're only going to focus on the Republic. The Sith Empire's not going to have anything to do with it. What if they encountered the Imperium of Man? Like, what would it be like if those two clashed? So, yeah, let's get started. So obviously, the Imperium of Man is the aggressor here. The Imperium doesn't give a fuck about politics. Well, it gives a fuck about politics as long as the politics include we're going to burn Xenos filth out of the galaxy. And their whole thing is, now, depending on which one this would be, maybe there would be some some policy talks if this was with during the era of the God Emperor, but this is probably more Gilliman's era, so peace talks are out, and all we're going to hear from the Imperium is Xeno scum. So, all-out war is not a good thing for the Republic. Now, at this point, in the era of the Republic, there is a grandstand, there is an army. Most of them are recruited, and the Jedi are more soldier-like than, you know, in the prequel era where they said we're keepers of the peace, not soldiers. Because there had been wars with the Mandalorians, there had been war with the Sith, over and over again. So this era of Jedi were way more battle-hardened, they were way more, you know, keen on fighting than normal. Like, yes, they did practice a lot of, like, the Jedi code and whatnot, but for the most part, it was more like, hey, if you come at us, we're gonna fuck you up. So that was the thing with these Jedi. They're also, these Jedi, the Old Republic era Jedi, were also more inclined to fight than they were to find peace because of all the wars between all the wars with the Mandalorians and the Sith Empire. There was also a lot of division among those planets, so these were more battle-hardened Jedi. And the other thing is, like I said, the Old Republic had a standing army. And their ships, while not as advanced as, you know, the Republic-era ships of the Clone Wars, still packed a lot of punch. And I do stress that. So, that being said, that army is going up against the Imperium, and the Imperium has a tendency to well, let's just say overkill. If you looked up overkill in the dictionary, you'd see a Space Marine. Because they don't use the word exterminatus and mean it like, fuck them. Because, yeah, like, these guys live up to it. These guys will scorch an entire planet to prove a point. And I'm not talking just Imperial Guardsmen. You have to go up against Space Marines, Titans, you know, these massive war machines. And not to mention ships that are entire cities that have weapons that can just burn a whole planet. Now, the big thing is, there's two ways I can look at this. Because on one hand, on the ground, the Old Republic, if they're going to war with the Imperium, that war it's going to be tough to say, even with Jedi, though, and the tech they have. The Imperium is like all the chapters and whatnot are all fanatics, and of course Space Marines are fucking super soldiers. So there's a big thing there. Having said that, though, there's still, technically speaking, even if, like with the Imperium, I would still say that the Star Wars universe, even in the Old Republic era, kind of technologically outmatches the Imperium. Like I said, even if this was Old Republic tech, this is still a grandstanding army that has fought multiple wars every cycle. Now, again, that's nothing compared to the Imperium, which has fought Chaos Gods, the Tau, the Necrons. No, not that's not what they're called. Fuck, I'm tired, guys. They've even had civil wars with each other. Chaos Marines, the Tyranids. I would say battle experience-wise, I would give that to the Imperium. But on the other end of that spectrum, that their technology is laughably far behind that of even the Old Republic. Now, on the ground, they have clearly the better soldiers. But there's only so much you can do with the Imperial Guardsmen against a Republic trooper, especially in this time period, who have stronger armor and could probably hold up against several shots from a las gun. But yeah, yes, you do have the Sisters of Battle, you do have Psychers, but yeah. Could a Jedi kill a Space Marine? I do think it's possible. I also think it's possible that a Space Marine could totally kill a Jedi, as well as a Primarch. But yeah, when you compare technology between the Old Republic and the Imperium, it's laughable how much, like, some of them do kind of cancel each other out, but technologically speaking, the Old Republic has it. Now, having said that, though, the Imperium does have an army that's massive, and it's constantly recruiting. That being said, they are also I always bring up technology in these things because that kind of helps in how you fight a war. Now the Imperium also has like planet-killing level weaponry. So does the Old Republic. So does the Republic. So it's really this is a really tough one. So I can't wait to see what the Star Wars and Warhammer fans could have a cordial conversations in the comments. Ah, God. Anyway, so you guys tell me in the comments below, who do you think would come out on top in this matchup? Do you think it would be the Old Republic, or do you think it would be the Imperium? Just comment below, let me know. And like I said, this request came from Nolan Unejo, so I'd like to thank him for this Patreon request, as well as continued patronage. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.